Making sure all the right buttons are pressed. Oh, wrong game again. Dang it. I've been playing a lot of Satisfactory. Let's see, glass. Surely that's plenty. Scaffolding. I have scaffolding. I just don't know where. Actual scaffolding. Well, that's okay, fine. That's not what I meant to do. If I remember the way this is configured, we're going to be losing a bunch of scaffolding here, so yeah. Well, the first things I need to do is turn off the iron farm. I believe golems are still spawning. Yep. It's like right in there. There. It's just to make sure no golems spawn while I'm on the scaffolding. Oops. Eventually, I want to make it a toggle thing, but for now. Nope, not high enough. Well, that's not where I meant that to go. I'm not going to bother with Suck Touch because it's not like I'm getting it back either way. Because when it's a giant pool of lava at the bottom, you're not getting it back. Yeah, let me up. Okay. Splish. Well, hello there. Doc Thor M77. Hermitcraft reference. I can save you. No. Ah, okay. No. Gonna lose it anyways. Actually, that's kind of where I want to be. The iron storage is just completely full. And when I built this, I didn't have a on-off switch in the original design, so... That's not what we wanted to place there. Need to go that way. That way. Nope, I'm gonna go there. And yes, I know you don't have to use workstations anymore for this. Well, hello there. This design has workstations because it's also a very old farm. You should be able to sleep now. And I stuck it on the wrong sides. Of course. Oh, up we go. And there should be no more iron golems spawning at all. The little roof is because at one point this is high up enough to freeze. So alright, we got our iron farm turned off. And I think I'm going to go ahead and disable the, just disable the chunk loading portal. Because technically it's not needed. It was originally put there because this world started with the Iron Titan, and if the chunks got unloaded for whatever reason, it would break. And that's when I discovered there was a setting in Optifine that force unloads the chunks, even if there's a chunk loader. I'm just going to break the portal for now. We don't need it. I'm going to put it in there for now. Disable that. Just, I mean, the iron storage is so full, it's just spitting it all into the trash anyway. The double chest is just so that I can go ahead and mine all those hoppers up and get them back. The portal that's in the nether I'm just going to leave because I don't actually see a point in breaking it. It's not connected to anything anymore. Although, if it does try to connect to that portal, that might be a problem. It should be far enough apart to not do that. But if you were to go, I think if you were to go through the portal on the nether side, it would pop you up at the portal at the top. I've pulled the system out before. So now, if anything falls in there, it'll end up in there. Which it will, because we're going to go break all those hoppers. I mean, right now the world isn't performing too poorly, but when I don't have the access to mods, this world gets very laggy very fast. Which is also why I'm going back to a manual sort system at some point, to get rid of a lot of the hopper mess and everything. It's very laggy, and also because of the way it got built originally, it doesn't work right. Unfortunately, these are duration 3 rockets, so not the end of the world to not get all the materials back. And since this is literally the same instance I use for ISV, I have exactly the same mods installed. I think I'm going to go through and just pull it out all the way down. Well. Ah, missed. I can say with certainty nothing's going to spawn there. Because the mob switch is on, and I haven't checked here, but the one in my creative world, I can't actually turn it off. Not without actually killing all the shulkers. So I think the part that's further away from spawn needs to be pushed back a bit. Just so that they're actually unloaded. Although, part of it might also be the chunk loader not helping things either. That's where a magnet would be useful. I did still end up putting a whole bunch of hoppers back in, just not nearly as many. Because a few years ago I had ripped out the storage system I had before and pulled like 2 or 3 shulkers out of just hoppers. Hello. Let's see. Oh, over there. Being in the shadow of the iron farm makes everything nice and dark. Ow. Originally, this was a 1.8.0 world. It's currently a 1.19.3, which I think it's displayed there. Yeah. Minecraft 1.19.3. That's 45. Okay. It should be a few pieces like that. Release 1.8, not beta 1.8. So the end was a thing. It's old, but it's not that old. So I might lose a villager or two. That's the one they call the Bountiful update, where they added all the, like, diorite, andesite, granite. Oh. Yeah. Yeah, it's before that. Let's see. I think I'm just going to use dirt to fill her up. like it's that many blocks. Back when you had to use trap chests to place chests next to regular chests. Which is why I have a shulker full of trapped chests. That's that way. Use doors to make your iron farm. Uh-huh. The pick block feature only works in creative when its world was new. Because that was also a thing that was added later. You can, now if you have the block in your inventory, you can middle click on it. You didn't used to be able to do that. Oh yeah. So this little cutout is because originally the way you stopped Enderman griefing was with command blocks back in the day. Oh. Time to make a mess. Wrong game. Holding down control, which is satisfactory, is how you shove stuff into an inventory. In Minecraft, it's not control, it's shift. I'm hold off on that. I think I'm gonna grab the torch too. Oh yeah. This world had the Iron Titan in it. And I had to build it twice because the first one, I ended up with some sort of corruption where it resets the chunk. And the chunk that got reset was in the middle of the farm. So I had this 16 by 16 block hole all the way through the middle of the Iron Titan. Let's see. It might be enough for a minute. But at least the door's stacked. Because by that point in time, they did make them stackable, so... Let's see, torches. What box? Okay, I'll dump it in then. Let's see, I think we're done except for the poppies down below. I don't think I'm going to need them for anything, so let's see. Composter will be upstairs. I think it was 113 when I did this notification. I'm not actually sure anymore. Couple of habiters. And a couple of chests. So I don't think it's more than a chest's worth of poppies. I actually had an LP server at one point, and Season 1 was in 1.8 and large biomes. That was fun. Too far away. Aha. Just gonna turn those into bone meal. So that should be no longer doing anything. Forget how full this actually is. Up to there. Oh, plus this is all full too. So it's not on off switch, but I'm pretty sure the iron farm is off. Did I have anything on there about that? Ancient City, Froglife Farm, Phantom. That's on the to-do list. Yeah, I went 17 stuff. I haven't even done any of that yet. Amethyst, bedroom, raid farm, drowned, glow squid, pickles. I don't. Yeah, on off switch. It's just off. Okay then. Let's see. This is the scaffolding box. Put it out of the way. I'm thinking about going ahead and converting all of this and putting it in shulker boxes, but I don't know that I have any fresh ones. At least not readily available. So 3, 6, 9 stacks of iron blocks, right? No, 1, 2, 3, no, 6. That's on my to-do list. I just don't have one. So that'd be 6, 12. I need like a box, a row, or a column. Alright. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. It's like 26 shulkers. Yeah. Yeah. I think I had shulker stuff set up here at one point, but does not look like it's there. The cobble on the floor, that's actually the foundations to the house that was originally here that I built many, many, many years ago. This is the actual original house. And a few empties. Let's see. What am I not actually getting lots of? Since I will be at some point taking that out too. Hi, Time Lord. So I need to empty 3 slots out of my actual inventory. Come on. Three slots because I need 2 for that plus 1 for the chest. And probably a box to put the chests into. Uh-huh. That should give me enough room for my axe. I don't really need that either. I don't know if it really matters which axe I grab. I didn't grab out a shulker box to put it in either. So well prepared. I mean, this world is originally from 2015, so deaths instead. But either way, they weren't surviving it, and so I had like half a dozen ominous banners just randomly in the storage. On the plus side, in this world, I know there's that people argue over mending versus infinity on a bow. Fortunately, this world is old enough. Why not both? It's the right age for that. Painful things we must do to continue. I didn't grab shulker bucks up. Yep, that doesn't go in there. At one time, years ago, I actually had Impulse's gold farm that he designed on in this world. Many, many years ago. I know a lot of people don't keep worlds around forever, but there is something to be said about older worlds. And this is one of those few places where I'm not happy with Mojang's new chunk smoothing thing that they did, which more transitions more smoothly between the old terrain gen and the new. Because for a world like this, it actually gives it some character. There's a few places where you can see where the terrain's actually generations changed. But for some worlds, like in B-Dub's old single-player world, building with B-Dubs, it does kind of make it hard to work with. So, it's sad to see it go, but I also understand his logic. I never did say anything, but as somebody who's played large biomes most of the time, it prefers it. Yeah. In fact, because cheats are enabled in this world, I can do this, and then also night vision, 2, 3, 4, 5, 0, because there's only one tier. That gets rid of the fart bubbles. This is at like Y11, and then you keep going down, and then Y0 is just below that, because that used to be bedrock, and then it keeps going even further. Glow squid! But this is after the retro gen. And since this is the standard vanilla method of switching to spec, I have to go up top and unspec or die in a wall. And in a second, it'll pop back up because I have beacons everywhere. And the reason I would call this world survival adjacent is because there are a few things that were built entirely in creative. There's also a few things that have been done using external tools. Like there's the perimeter at the witch farm that was done using MC Edit, I think it was, along with the perimeter at the Wither Skelly farm. It was done with MC Edit. And I believe I actually put together the Wither Skelly farm with creative mode. And the Blaze farm is a bit of a mixture. Mostly because ironing out stuff with it. The gold farm is kind of a mix. And I don't know what part was built in survival, but part of it was. I believe it was this one where I swapped all the blocks out for magma blocks, the iron block floor. I think that I might have done that in creative just because I didn't have the magma blocks. Save time. The mob switch in this world was built in creative on camera, but that was only because I was having an issue with replay mod at the time. And I'd recorded the one in my LP world, but I couldn't get it to work for whatever reason, so I had to build it again. I just used creative mode here. I'm supposed to go there first. The other thing with this world in particular is that originally it was also a very, very lightly modded world. With a couple of mods that, if you put it on a server like ISV, would absolutely destroy the economy. And for those who use emeralds for villager trading, it would have destroyed that too. It makes the raid farm worthless because one of the mods added in dimensions that add in things like diamonds and emeralds. And so, yeah, I have a few diamonds. But I wanted to keep the world around, and so I had to ditch the mods, unfortunately. So it was a 1.8 modded world. I did actually run a 1.10 modded series in this world once, briefly. And then after that series ended, eventually I did convert it to a vanilla world. Probably the biggest thing I miss out of the ladder right now, storage drawers. Because compacting drawers, it's just automatically made into blocks. Adding resource worlds is one thing, but those particular dimensions, it's like, yeah, no. Part of my plan with the redo of the storage here, I'm going to be pulling out all that bulk storage because I don't really need it like that. Which will help save on lag because hoppers. Also on the to-do list is to relocate villagers. Oh, did it again. But like I was saying, first things first, gotta make space for things, cause otherwise. At some point, I plan on adding a shulker box or a shulker farm, just not yet. Actually, after I rip all that out, there'll be lots of shulker boxes available, so I might not need that for a while. My LP world had a shulker farm. I also had like 13 shulker boxes of shulker shells laying around. Don't remember where it sits. When I first tear it out, it'd be like, at first it'd be like, well, I'm making actually a mess. That's what I'm making, a giant mess. Oops, right button. On the ISV Discord, I did share a pic of colorized storage, and this is actually the storage I was showing. It doesn't have everything, and most of these chests are empty. But that's... And it wasn't me trying to say that you absolutely have to do it this way. It's just the way that I set it up. But basically, each column is a color type of item. Like this column would be all pink items. Each row is a type of item. Like glazed terracotta, regular terracotta, concrete, powdered concrete, etc. That's just the way that I set it up. I like organizing and figuring out how to sort things, which is why I have 400 hours in Satisfactory. It just tickles that part of my brain. There is building in that game, but just a little bit. I would have to have some allays first, and I don't have any in this world. So... And even using locate and going to the nearest mansion won't help because I already did that previously after they were introduced, and I've already been there, and that was before allays were a thing, so... Oops, I keep hitting the shift key, which is run in every other game on Earth. But I'm Minecraft. I can. A lot's changed. This is actually world spawn in this world. When it originally was generated, it was world spawn. If you were to use the seed today, the world you get, this is in the middle of the ocean, and spawn is like 600 blocks that way. There used to be a different tower there, and because of the modded history of this world, I had to mod dragon mounts, and the higher... the environment you hatched the dragon in determined what kind of dragon you got, and the one I wanted, you had to put it up pretty high, so the top of the tower is at like Y170 something. Ow. Drawback of flight duration 3 rockets. But at some point I remodeled it and made it into this dragon pens area with landing platforms. There's several floors which do different things. Like this is the bedroom area. I also have it as a bit of a trophy room with all copies of everything, including some stuff you can't get anymore, like the god tier armor. Because at one point you could put all the forms of protection on a single piece of armor. And of course, copy of my mending and infinity bows. The punch bow I used to use for flight because that was a thing. First cat I found in this world was a jelly. And as you go down, there's farms on most of the floors, although pretty empty. I believe this is pumpkins and melons. My mushroom growing farm. I used a terracotta to point to blocks to place the mushrooms on for growing. And then that side, I think it's just the one spot for each. And as we go down, bamboo farm. Well, farms, plural. Huh, I got a little bit of bamboo. Anyways, down here, this is a map of the world, my map room. And this is basically up to date to what the world looks like now. This giant hole in the middle is the witch farm perimeter. And it's sectioned off into two because it'd be too tall otherwise. But this mesa continues down to the ocean monument there. Which, if you generate this world now, there's no ocean monument there. My little mushroom island. This was where I had my villager breeder and villager powered farms and trading hall. But all that changed in 1.14, so that doesn't work anymore. I have no idea why I took a map of the ice spikes biome, but I did. There's no ice spikes there because at one point in 1.10 modded, I had Vein Miner and went and mined out all of the packed ice. That's the desert village mining area that I have. There haven't been any villagers there in years. It's also where I fought my first wither at. I fought it in open air, and I did defeat the wither, and then died to the wither effects. And this is the first village I found in this world. It's currently got a wall around it, and it's been expanded a bit, and it's got a bunch of villagers in it. This is the original map of the Ocean Monument Farm, except for that one somehow got deleted. Why, yes. Yes, you do. There's actually 2 of them in this world? Maybe 3. This is the witch farm before I MC edited a hole around it. This is what spawn looked like as of 1.11-ish. And, of course, several buried treasure maps. And that brings us back around to this map. And up there is what spawn looks like today. Along with the little lines that are all the rail lines I've got everywhere. I guess we can go over to that first village. There's also banners in places and marking things, but not all of them are in or working for whatever reason. I started building a little thing in there. That's the end portal, which I kind of want to redo. The black box is where my pigs and rabbits are. Cocoa beans. One of these should be potion stuff, so I've got my netherwort farm and water and such. Down here is my library where I have my one mending villager in this world. But I sorted all the books. I tried to arrange it like an actual library. So I've got like sections where these are the armor enchants. Oh, and then the different tiers of them are the different shelves. And a lot of these chests don't have anything in them either. And then I've got tools, a sword, bow enchants. There's a couple of spots with stuff that goes on everything. And of course, supplies, things like your leather. It's got leather and paper and books and lapis and leather, anvils, bookshelves. And down here is the main storage. This is version 11 of storage that I've had in this world. And basically, with this part, it used to be down below, and then I copied it up a level. Yes, probably. But then we keep going, and keep going down. And I shall hydrate. Anyways, but yeah, this is the redstone. It's got a shulker box unloader and loading and all kinds of stuff. A bulk storage with the storage loaders. At one point, this was actually a sheep farm. And all the storage on this side is for automatic farms. This is probably the oldest thing in the world that's from when I originally built this world. It's a chicken cooker from long ago. Over here, it's my old redstone test and example room, which I mostly emptied. Alright. And down over here, this was the storage room. And at one point it had the auto sorter S up there down here, but there's nothing in it now. And this used to be bulk storage with hoppers galore everywhere. And so it was hoppers, pulled out like 4 or 5 shulkers of just hoppers. All the columns in the middle currently are part of the sheep farm. This I recently put here because I wanted to make a bunch of potions for end city stuff. Got a kelp farm, have a sugarcane farm, and a cactus farm on this level. Back when the storage room was that room up there, I actually had a smelting array down here. It was my smart smelter, and the way I had it set up, you would put everything in the normal sorter. Lots of testing. Yes. Indeed. Basically, what would happen is you'd put all the stuff in the regular sorter. It filtered out the fuel for the furnace as well as the smeltables and sent them over to the furnace array. And it would automatically separate the fuel from the items to smelt, send the stuff into the minecarts to be smelted, turn it on, smelt everything, and then when it was done, it would turn itself off and send the smelted results into storage. And, but now there's a sheep farm over there. And then we go this way. And this is why I never expanded my iron storage. Because the iron storage is like right up there. And we keep going down below. And this is actually the second version of the tree farm by Mumbo. And I have modified this one. Because there's a few tweaks you have to do to it to make it work. Yeah. Which is below my redstone testing world. There is a slime farm down here. It's a really basic one. It's just one chunk with an iron golem in the middle. Nothing fancy. All the slime in this world is from that one farm. Just because it's been running a little while. If we check the statistics, I think it's 165 days. Oh yeah, I forgot I added that much. Time played, 131 days, and that's not entirely accurate. The 58 days is how long this account's been in this world. I did actually end up changing Minecraft accounts at one point, and because originally there was a bug in one of the forged versions for 1.8 that unlocked the full game for you without having to pay for it. This is my original branch mine. And then, of course, down there earlier we were messing with and pulled out the chunk loader. Got rails running through it now, and all of these designate tunnels that go to things. Like, I believe this one goes up to the I don't remember which farm it is anymore. One of them goes to my first beacon, and I don't remember which. Command blocks. And over here is the chunk loader we were working on earlier that I just disabled because it's unneeded. I guess something like 50% of the base is underground. And it's not a small base either. When I finally did have a legitimate Minecraft account, I never copied all the stats over. Because the other account, I think, had something like 65 deaths. But I never got that information copied over, so it says I have 0. And that's just what's over here. The only thing we might have to worry about here is phantoms. So let's go take a nap. Quick little nappy poo. The wrench on the wall is because I have the resource pack for ISV on. That originally was actually a wrench, or not a wrench, a building one. I think it uses similar NBT data. Can I get through that hole, please? Thank you. And of course, that's my iron farm. A lot's changed since this was built too. It's based on a design by DocM77. And it was from when you first had to scare the villagers and you needed workstations and stuff for them, which you don't need anymore. Yeah. Yes. Is it obvious that I'm not into... I don't do interiors? Over here is my ice farm, which doesn't actually work anymore because they changed the Y height at which stuff freezes since they updated to a taller world. Over here, this particular little village originally had all the villagers from my old trading hall, and somehow they still ended up down there. And I believe they're all stuck. So. And let's see, over here is another village that kind of sprung up just because this is where my breeder is, along with the current carrot farm. I think it's just carrots. It might be potatoes, but I think it's... No, potatoes and carrots. It doesn't quite work anymore, so that's going to have to be taken out and redone. This is a village in newer versions before... I'm not sure which update it is. But like 110 through 116, I think, there's a taiga village here by default. But because of the age of this world, there was no village here, and I built it. It's just an old, simplistic house style that I'd been using for years. And over here, we've got our pig farm and rabbits. And then, let's see, back this way, I have everywhere in this world at spawn, for the most part, is covered by beacons. And I've got 6, so I've got every effect all the time, max strength. This is a hostile mob farm that does all the hostile mobs except for the whole mob switch thing being all bustificated. Got my chorus fruit farm over here, which is currently empty. And I have it empty because one of the changes somewhere along the ways means that up at the top, since it's not lit properly, baddies spawn on the flowers, although I suppose nothing will spawn now. Have fun at work. And then down here, I set up a farm for the 2x2 trees, like the giant spruce trees and jungle trees. let's see what else. Down here somewhere, I've got turtles and a little beach for them. My little turtle tube. And this over here is a rail station from before lecterns were a thing. But you turn it to whatever place you want to go, and you get in a minecart, and it'll take you there. And just outside of spawn, back here, let's see, what else do we have? I've got some wolves stored back here, some horses, including my very first horse I ever tamed in Minecraft. I've changed the armor. It was wearing gold at one point, but I did change the armor. And over here is Cubfan's horse tester out of his single player world. And according to MiniHUD, it's actually pretty accurate too. So all the things where they do the weird stopping them with fence posts or fence gates isn't necessary. You don't have to try and determine it based on number of sticks. You can just flat out go, oh, this number of meters a second. And over here is a smeltering array, my current smart smelter that I designed. It's the same as the one that used to be hooked up to the item sorter, except for bigger, and that's all it does. You dump everything into that chest that's the item input here, fuel and your things to smelt, and it separates them out and turns the array on, smelts everything, and then when it's done, it actually turns itself back off. So you don't have to think about it. There's also manual overrides, like the various levers here turn on and off the various minecarts. The buttons start and stop each side individually. It's not optimal, but it does work as proof of concept. It does work though. Albeit, it's a bit sluggish. It takes it 15 minutes to do a shulker full of items, but I don't know that there's actually a capacity limit on it. One of those things you would not be allowed to build on ISP. And over this way. Nope. If we keep going this way, I've got a bee farm. Looks like they're all still in there. Just a little bee farm and auto harvests and everything, and gets the honeycomb and stuff. I'm not sure why half of it has the... Oh, that might be because the honeycomb, but the bottles are a little smoother. Yeah. I also used to use a resource pack specifically, but haven't used it in years. Got a llama, some llamas over here. Built my own little river that passes through the whole area. Over here, this is a hedge maze, albeit not that good of one. And then this is a build that I never finished. Originally, it was supposed to have something to do with my single-player LP world, but I changed my mind. If we keep going this way, this is the end portal area. Along with what passes for the room for it. I didn't grab all my stuff back. So I should probably go do that before we fly off. The light blue beacons designate where the corners of the spawn chunks were at one point. It's changed a fair bit since then. I'm not actually sure where the edges are anymore. Let's see, rockets. Anywho, back to flying. Over here we have our mob switch. If we keep following this particular track, you end up at the witch farm. Which, because of the mob switch not working correctly, doesn't work anymore. If I were to disable it by, say, killing the shulkers, and I used both creative and survival to get it down to this point. And this used to be one layer of bedrock, but, well, game's updated since then. I think I actually have it blocked off, so we wouldn't be able to go that way, but there is actually some nether hub stuff going on. If we keep going this way, we should come across the first village I found, which I have set up to be as raid proof as possible. And you keep going this way. Just follow the trail of destruction. No biggie. I used endstone so it stood out, as well as cutting a swath through the birch forest there, but keep going this way and we'll end up at the Guardian farm. Eventually. And I did light up under there and decorate a bit. Or at least I started to. Over here's the Guardian farm. And of course, I've got that particular vessel here, along with some older ships that I used to use. This is the rail that comes out here. And in here, it's all shulker loaders and storage for the farm. The current version of the farm that's here is the Zip Crowd Dispensers version. Years ago, it used to be the other kind that XP Crafted designed on Hermitcraft 3. And then they made some changes, and you get cooked fish whenever you send them through lava now. And the idea was, because dragons eat raw fish, I needed it to be raw fish. Still not much of an interior, but, you know, baby steps, baby steps. But I quite literally copied the monument I had up. And then from here, primarily the rest of it should be mostly in the nether. It always feels like there's just not a whole lot in this world for its age until you realize that's the second iteration of the Guardian farm. This is the third iron farm that I built. It was the Iron Titan twice because I had to rebuild it. And let's see. There's a couple of other things that I've rebuilt a few times. I think that's technically Wither Skelly Farm number 4. The first one I put in the wrong spot. It was the shifting floors design from Hermitcraft. The witch farm itself is, let's see, I started with the design to use it on Hermitcraft. Then I used Ender IO to make a spawner. And then I put that one in, but that one's been modified a few times because of changes like the waterlogging of slabs. Basically meant that the first floor would be one solid layer of water all the way across. So I had to modify it. Also moved the storage underneath and a couple of other little modifications here and there over the years. Oh yeah, I also have a basalt generator. It's not the fastest, but and some cows. Nothing too fancy. It only does one source block, so that really slows it down. Let's see. If I go... Oh yeah, the portal's not down here anymore. At one point, you'd face this way, and the rotation was correct for the nether hub, but it isn't anymore. I've moved the portal, so that's why it changed on me, but... Yes. Originally, you would come out of the portal facing this way, so that's the way I oriented the floor here. But my first little pixel art thing, it's a picture I found online of a cutesy toothless. Ow. And the fun thing with this nether hub in particular is technically, I don't know if it still counts as one, but at one point this part of the hub was inside the bounding box of another fortress. So if you placed a nether brick right there, you'd be able to get wither skellies inside the hub. You've got various tunnels going off to various things. This one kind of just loops around underneath because I think the portal's over there. In various farms. The Blaze Farm, I want to say is number 3. Might technically still count as only number 2 though. Because it was, I had some kind of an expandable chest mod in that would let you auto kill things. And then after that in 110 I had the, was it the Draconic Evolution mob killer? And then I ended up having to replace it with the vanilla one because of course. And you go down, what is that? It's purple to designate something. Oh, I think that's the witch farm there. And that one goes to the Guardian farm we were just at. If you go this way, partway down there's a tunnel off to the left that takes you to the Flower Forest farm. And you keep going and you get to the Mushroom Island. Let's see. On this side, most of these are blank. Some of them, like the jungle, it's just literally a portal in a jungle temple. The mansion, it's literally just a portal there. I did take it over and everything, just haven't done anything with it because time. That takes you to the first village. This takes you out to, I think this one takes you to the coral reef and the frozen ocean, and there was another place as well. I think there's 3 portals off of it altogether. And then this takes you to the ice spikes. And over here, this is the current version of the Wither Skelly farm. It's the same one Impulse and Tango built on Hermitcraft in season 6, I want to say. Yeah, thanks to playing on ISV, I actually have different ideas if I were to do it again. I've been considering doing it again, too. But there's also some stuff up on the roof in this world as well. And the stairs turn that way because otherwise they end up in the middle of the floor. But Over there is the wither boss killing area. You used to be able to do with a specific spot in the bedrock. Bunches and bunches of tracks and torches and tunnels. A modified version of the donut that's been modified a couple of times for a gold farm. Used to be the X79 farm from Impulse. Over here is my bartering stuff. Nothing too fancy. It needs a redo because the way it's designed currently, the hoppers get overwhelmed very quickly. And all these various tracks take you to some of the older stuff that's been in the world for a while. Like the Blaze Farm and the Wither Skellies, the Guardians, the Ice Spikes, Mushroom Island, Jungle. I forget what that goes to. I'm not actually sure what that one goes to. Originally, I didn't understand the wither killing stuff, so I set up this box with bedrock. It's a wither killing area. You follow the torches here and beacons. These beacons don't have any effects, they're just literally beacons to mark the way. But you follow them around to some other stuff, some of which needs to be fixed. Advantage of it being a really old world, you can have 4 stacks of beacons floating around just set up somewhere. So but you keep going this way, and there's a hole over there somewhere that leads down to a bastion that I started tearing apart and never finished doing anything with. The gas farm needs to be fixed because currently skellies spawn in it and they shouldn't. But that's Soul Sand Valley, and then over here I have a hoglin farm. Nothing too fancy. The soul torches scare off the piglins, and okay, I say it doesn't work right, and there goes working. And then of course the shrooms to scare the hoglins over to there. Ow. Also, a turtle egg to draw the zombified piglins over. Then we fly back because that's what we do around here. One of the other things to keep in mind is that this particular nether hub I built long before I joined ISV, so there's going to be some features that make you question my sanity. Of which I do anyway, so I forget which track it is that goes to the Wither Skelly farm. I think it's that one. Yeah. But you can follow the track or use the tunnel in the hub below. The one to the Wither Skelly farm kind of ends above it, but I don't remember if the actual tube works. I don't think it does. Yeah, it just kind of ends at the ceiling of it. But this is the Wither Skelly farm used on Hermitcraft at one point. I think it still works, but I haven't really run it much. And of course, over there you can see the tunnel coming in. With the ceiling covered in glass, so things don't spawn on it. version. Let's see, there was one from Hermitcraft that I built in the wrong spot. And then I had a Wither Skelly spawner at one point, because you could do that with modded. And then I built that one at some point. That was after I cleared the array using MC Edit. Ow. And I never did set up a Wither boss killing area under the portal. Yeah. No. Some of the holes were made with dark oak trees, because the world is old enough for that. But like this hole right here was done with creative mode, and there's a reason I call it survival adjacent. It's partially survival, but like this absolutely was done in creative mode. Before I discovered you could punch holes with the dark oak trees at the time. I think it's out by the Blaze Farm. The hole was done by dark oak. It was done in vanilla, just not survival. Let's see, that takes us to the Wither Skelly Farm. Currently, the Blaze Farm is the design Impulse is used, where it's just a glass box and lures them over to a certain spot. If we go this way, we end up at a flower farm. And there's no roof access to this one. There is to the mushroom farm, Mushroom Island, but not to the flower forest. Loading. Look, I know I haven't been here in a while. Nothing too fancy over here. It's a running the flying machine along the floor design, which I currently have set up to get like the warped stuff too. And I also have the 2 Soulflower farm over here as well. Focus on the redstone and not on the actual interior, because that's one of the things that I do. This is why I was trying to avoid redstone on ISV. I don't have a map of this area. Clunk. Yep. Well, again, with the whole survival adjacent thing, I think the blocks were placed in creative. Just so I wouldn't run out. And over here, this Mushroom Island is the one I was using for my villager breeder and trading hall. I'm thinking I might move all that stuff back out here because lag. But that particular farm there connects to what used to be the breeder. The villagers would be fed fully automatically, and you just get an infinite supply of them. And then they changed the way it works, so it doesn't use doors anymore. But you'd have your villagers up there, and they'd pop a villager out, and then go down below. And somewhere down here, there was a place with a guy on a... I might have tore it out already. But somewhere there used to be a villager with a door, or a set of doors. Nearby. There he is. And the way it works is that it goes, oh, we need more villagers, but there's villagers up here, and it would breed up. I think I took the guys out of these farms too. I either took them back to spawn or killed them, one or the other. And of course, trading hall. I was throwing stuff in there, but I don't know where it is or what it was. And sugarcane farm, as well as pumpkins and melons, and all this is for to feed the trading hall, along with the carrots and potatoes and stuff. Trading hall over here, which when I took the villagers out, I kind of destroyed it. Currently, this is actually 119.3. And down here is actually a secondary branch mine I made a while back. Because with the mess I had, it spawned it, wanted it to be further away. So it was a 1.8.0 modded world. Then I updated to 1.10 modded. And then I vanilla-ified it in 1.10. And updated to 1.11, and it's been in most updates since then. So it's seen a lot of changes over the years. Ow. I think it's the portal at the end of the hallway here. There was this little island that I'd set up to take off from, to go to exploring new chunks. And I think over here you can actually see some of the terrain gen changes. I think it's out here. Loading terrain. Clunk. Yeah. If it ever loads in. But like that. I didn't do that. That came with the generation change because I'd gotten far enough this way previously to generate part of it, and then later it generated the rest of that because that's right along the chunk border. Because this one was generated before this one. And this is what they were talking about when they changed it so that it's nice and smoothed over now. And you won't get this anymore. It's both understandable, but also because of this world, it's kind of sad too. If we go back into that particular tunnel, head back this way a smidgen. And head down this way. There's a portal off to the right that takes you to a frozen ocean. But the portal at the end is at the coral reef. Like, that's the frozen ocean that way. I might have to reload on rockets again. And then the door here takes you off to some of the new 116 nether. Because a lot of the nether that's in the hub is within the bounds of the older gen before 116. This should feel familiar too. But over here, it's nothing fancy, but it's where I stuck about because it's a coral reef like right there. And at the time, I had used the boat as the portal room on my 1.14 Season 3 server. On my Season 3 server, so I decided to use it here. So there's 2 of them in this world. There were 2 of them on that server, plus the original one that I made in my creative world. And then we've got all the ones that I built on ISV. The one I did in my LP world, single player LP world. And let's see. The one on the Frog and Chicken server. Oh, I did build one in creative on the Twist server as well. In the creative dimension. Oh, and fire spread is on in this world, so things do burn. I think I'm gonna go there first. Back to spawn for a moment. Have a quick drink here. So, also because of the modded history of this world, somewhere, I forget where, I think it's to the north, there's actually some, a couple of roguelike dungeons. The structures are there. And there's also a couple of applied energistics meteor craters. Obviously, it doesn't have a skystone or anything now, but the hole is there, and lava and everything else. Might as well just go down the down elevator. Mostly a quick nap to get rid of the phantoms. Because they'll still spawn. I mean, technically there is actually a another portal here along with the tunnel, or the track to get here. If you use locate, you won't find a stronghold here. And out here, I got my Ender, which I have actually had to modify it at one point because the Enderman would just come right up to the side next to the Endermite and never navigate around. So I had to do some modifying to force them around. And then I've got a shulker box loader here for the ender pearls. just because it makes it a little easier. And over here, the entire island is actually lit. Or at least it's supposed to be lit. The stack of blocks over there is for a wither rose farm. And there's 2 end gateways here, or exit portals. Because when I originally did the dragon fight back in 1.8, it would spawn the portal wherever the dragon died, but then there was a bug where to get that to generate, you had to do a special thing. You broke one of the blocks of the bedrock, and then you had to place it on obsidian somewhere, and then it would force it to respawn because it wasn't working correctly. There's no wither killing it area in this world. I think to get to the I used commands in order to clear out the area around it, but under a portal that way, that one takes you to the space that I prepped for a wither rose farm. I just never made the farm. And of course, back to our bed. And that is this entire world. Let's see, get back to that. Pockets aren't quite free enough. Take a minute for my brain to get back to where I was. Oopsie. I never actually made a dirt hut, but I did actually have a house here originally. Just a modest little house. The cobblestone line here is where the foundation of the original wall was, but it was right here. It was right here. This is where the tower used to be. This was actually outside. And then over here was an add-on under a mountain where I had the iron storage. I want to say it was originally basically a cobble box with a birch roof. And I then later added windows to it, swapped it out for stone bricks. Eventually I did turn it into an oak roof before I did the 110 series. Oak roof with a glass ceiling to it, and originally snow didn't accumulate on glass, and then they changed it so it did. But if I were to load the world today with that version of the roof, it wouldn't get snow on it again because it's too far down, I think. My original storage was literally just some chests inside that original house. Then I did a bunch of chests throughout the various floors of the tower that was originally there. Then I had Tango's sorter for a little while in that little diorite and iron block room below. Then I ended up with storage drawers because I was tired of crafting iron blocks. And then at one point when I updated to 110, I had applied energistics in there. And then when I vanillaed it, it was just a bunch of chests with stuff literally everywhere. Because that was still pre-shulker boxes being a thing. And then I had... It was basically the same multi-item sorter, but down below, with it attached to the furnace array, and the bulk storage was literally hoppers everywhere. And then at one point I swapped it for this one. The issue with the sorter is that the redstone for the hopper locking part, I started copying it from one version of the multi-item sorter, and then I realized I was on the wrong one based on the chests. Switched over to the other one, and so it's off by a block. And then I just copied it when I brought it upstairs. Which means it's still broken. That's not the original location for it. Originally it was over here, but the trash can here, the original version I actually had to rewire it because the way the dispenser, it's a dropper now, it was a dispenser, worked, it would never power it. It just wasn't receiving the redstone signal for whatever reason. Because, you know, redstone changes. Got my concrete converter there. That's a modified Ilmengo nano farm. Because the original design by Impulse doesn't work anymore. Hey, you're the one who decided they were going to go down the stairs. Button again. Oh, the other day when I was messing with the settings in Satisfactory, apparently you can make the scroll wheel scroll the same way it does in Minecraft, which is backwards to every other game on the planet. There could very well be a cake somewhere, but I don't remember where it is. If there is one. I don't know. Because this is the first world I played in, I started off with... because I didn't know what I was doing, I made sure commands were enabled in the world. Then I ended up doing a lot of stuff in with creative, but over time, as I've gotten better at the game, I've stopped doing that as much, so I don't use creative nearly as much as I used to. Especially like in this world. But that huge number of deaths is actually why I technically keep inventories on in this world. Well, I would consider it a huge number of deaths. I know there's people out there that would be their first week on the server. I'm really bad at PvP. I'm not so bad at PvE. Currently on the ISV main server is my record for most deaths in a single world at 70. I want to say the previous record was like 65. Yes. First week in a world. We're only 1 week in and you've already broken my record for most deaths in a world. Oh, I forgot to break this chest. See? Oh, on the ISV Skyblock world, I'm still at 0 deaths. I'm at 0 deaths, and I'm the only member of the 0 Deaths Club that's technically not wearing any armor. I got wings, and I got a feather falling feather, and that's it. I would think being as good at PvP as she is, she would live more, but no. Then again, I've also never starved to death in vanilla either, so there's that. Oh, the difficulty setting in this world, it's been modified a few times over the years, but its default is actually normal, not hard. Oh, with this originally being a modded world, originally the dungeon loot would generate with the chest when the world part was generated, and one of the things you could do with that with dragon mounts is set it to spawn dragon eggs in chests. So if you're exploring, if one were to explore in this world, one of the things you'll find is there are dungeon chests that have dragon eggs in them. From way back. I think it was actually in 1.9 when they changed that to where you have to actually open the chest for it to generate the loot. There's been many changes to the game over the years. Yeah, I probably got reprogram major of the chests here. have to have another drink here. Yep. Since I only copied the overall playtime from the original account for this world, it's not 135 days with no deaths. It's actually the 58.53 days without dying with this account of playtime. I mean, the only reason my hardcore series ended is because I got busy doing other stuff. Okie dokie. Oh. That doesn't work out as nicely as the chests. Oh, I have a full stack of hoppers. I want to say there was a partial box. Alright. Now. Stretch. The next thing is going to be, since the iron comes in at a much higher point now, I don't have to keep it at that height. Because originally this hopper chain went out and connected to the Iron Titan, but since it doesn't do that anymore, I can pull it out. And free up some space that way. And then we'll grab our box out of the redstone stuff along with comparators, repeaters, just a regular piston. Some dust. And the iron box, because I build my redstone on iron. Let's see. I think that should be... Oh, I had the dispenser. Dispenser to dispense the shulker box. Hoppers and stuff are over there. Place this down. No, I'm gonna need that much. Let's see if we can pull it from there. Actually, maybe the piston goes there. Let's go forward one. So technically it goes there. Because we put our piston there to break the block, our dispenser goes there. And then it comes over here because it's got to turn the corner there. And technically. The way this is set up, we place that there. That goes into subtract mode. Repeater there. There and there. And redstone dust there, and there. And then we need a box with a completely full box -1. Exactly one item, and that'll automatically push the full shulker out. And then we can put a chest with a hopper there temporarily. Didn't grab the hoppers. The hopper there to be where we drain it from. That and a chest up top for the empty shulkers. Nope, not there. And then our empty shulker goes there. But we can't open it because the hopper's on top. And then now it automatically loads it. Or at least it would. And then that would be followed by when the hopper's full, or not the hopper, the box is full. It'll break that and put it in that hopper and stick it in there. All that work to do that. But basically, this gives it the signal strength of almost all the way full, and I forgot to put redstone dust there. And once it reaches completely full, it powers first this piston, and then with a delay, it dispenses the next shulker box. Which, if I put a button on there and stick a shulker in the dispenser, I should be able to demonstrate. It's not a particularly compact design. I believe I could put it there and have it work. Come on now. Still firing too soon. Yeah, that's the correct one. Alright. Why are you not firing correctly? I think it's just the piston is staying extended too long. Or it could be because it's a button. Fine. Nope, it's just staying on there. There was a time where you could do that and it would just pop off. Alright, different way of demonstrating it. Fine, be that way. Like that. It does work when you actually have the momentary pulse instead of the extended pulse because it's a button. Then we just fill that up and we're golden. Actually, what's changed is I think it'd probably be good to put composters up there instead of using droppers. Okay. Guess we don't get to hear the rest of that one. I'm gonna put the full one over there. Actually, I think I want to replace those with trapdoors. If I can find them. Really? I don't have trapdoors? Got boats. That should be enough because I want to place ones up top as well. Because it keeps getting stuck here. I don't think he'll get stuck in this one, but just to be sure. Meaning he can walk across it, but he can't actually fall in it. Alright. Yep, all that work to do that. And then I would need to fill that with shulker boxes. Let's see, I think that's actually the same height it started at, so I should be able to do that. I won't be able to connect it to the overflow anymore. That's alright. I'll pull that out here in a minute. Now, dump all that in there. I think I actually want to put that in the beacons box. Because I don't think it hurts to have more iron ingots just ready to go. There. Alright, that looks about right. I'm gonna leave that in place because it's kind of the trash can. Oh, wrong box. That box. Let's see. Composters. And since that guy's locked in for trades, it shouldn't matter. That one has to be open so it'll pick up the shulker when it's done. That should be finished. Alright. Grab the axe back out. Pile of stuff on the floor, because, you know. Bones, not bone blocks. So blocks must be elsewhere. Bone blocks and bone meal. Bone meal is in that box. I'm sure I have it. Maybe I don't. Okay. I was just looking at my wings. I need to go fix them. Soonish. I guess it hiccuped and disconnected for a moment. At one point, I did have a farmer villager that sold golden carrots. I think I had two, but they wander too much, and so the workstations got reclaimed by new villagers. And it's like, but there was already a guy working there. We have, after all, been flying around a little. Oh, the absence of the other pillars here is because at one point I went through and vein mined them all up. So the original pillars no longer exist because they got picked up. Uh-oh. I lost my navigational thing. Uh-oh. Oh, that end. Yeah, because the downside of pulling that out is the hoppers no longer go through there. At some point, it might not be a bad idea to replace that with a water stream and glass. Just to help reduce the number of hoppers, because at the moment, there's still quite a few. And I took out with the old system. I took out like 2.5 shulkers of hoppers, and then I ended up putting one full shulker back. Because even though I'm using water streams and such, you still have to pick stuff up with a hopper. So, on the torch spam, at one point the light level thing was different in vanilla, so you had to have more of them in a smaller space. But that has since changed. Let's see, bear. No, not barrel. Composter, that's what I want. Alright, just oak slabs. Or just slabs in general. Honestly, I think I'm going to start with fresh ones. I don't think that's going to be enough. There. And then the way we get around having a bunch of junk in the shulker box that we don't want in there, since we're going to be replacing the droppers, is to do that. The biggest drawback of the Tier 3 rockets is you get a little squirrely if you need to turn the sharp maneuver anywhere. The cloud level used to be a lot lower too. Watching the Casual Prime Discord, it looks like Mojang has patched out the standing on the edge of the honey block and jump. Because what it would do is it would count the air block next to you as what you're standing on, if you have the center of the player hitbox over that. And I guess it's not supposed to do that. Oops, don't need to keep jumping. So it's been set as a bug, and I'm like, but it's a useful thing. It was over a stack. All right. I mean, technically I could go in there, but... yeah, this is about right. few logs. The only thing I don't have now is the actual on-off switch for that farm, but for the moment I think I'm just going to leave it off. So we don't technically have an iron farm running, but I think we'll live. Is doing the iron farm storage in there? And I think for the Froglight farm, when I get to it, is going to be simply to use the design where you have a basalt delta. Oh yeah, the weather's turned off currently too, so we're not going to ever get powdered snow. Got the weather turned off, keep inventories on. Food. Lazarus is food. Really? Oh, do I make golden carrots in here anywhere? I forget what I was doing with that. That might be from the last stream. No, I do have more. From the last stream. Never really cleaned up. So that would go there. Rockets I just always have. The potions would go up on the potion floor. For now, I'm just gonna put it there. Now I have obsidian. I don't think I have coal blocks over here. I think it's just obsidians all. Yeah, probably. Coal. And it is in block form in there, so shoving it in there in block form shouldn't be a problem. I think I can just empty this box. Well, don't really have time to start anything in particular. I mean, there's more chests of boxes of some of the stuff, but some of it there's just the one. So I'm thinking bulk storage may actually not be needed for a lot of the stuff that I have bulk stored. With the redstone stuff, I think I'll have to. Yeah, because I only have one box. There would be like 2 or 3 more. There will be when I'm done. Yeah, a lot of this stuff doesn't actually need bulk storage. The oak wood probably would. And the stone. I'm pretty sure at one point the stone bricks did keep going up a bit, but that's all that's there. There's only 1 box of that. That's not too bad. Dirt, that's a little bit. But a bunch of this stuff, it's like 1 full box. That's regular ice, not packed ice. I used packed for the column because torch. Bones, I suppose, doesn't actually need it either. Okay, it's carrots, potatoes. I'm gonna say that honestly, when I redo this, a lot of this stuff that's bulk stored only needs like 1 box. The saplings get a fair bit. And then this is all stuff that's hooked up to the farm, so all these boxes. Those are the ones I've taken stuff out of, but otherwise it's just bulk stored. Same with the wool. All this is just from the farm below automatically put in storage. The rest of this I don't really need auto storage for, so that'll be fun. I think that's going to be a project for another time. Probably not on stream, because it's probably going to take me like 7 or 8 hours just to pull everything out. I think last time I did that, it took me something like 8 hours just to move everything out of the old storage system. It'll be missed for sure, but with time, things change. Those are full blocks and those are slabs. Roof access. So the fence is there because I was trying to keep the villagers in that area, but obviously that didn't work right. I have failed in that goal. So basically all that'll be left is the water streams here for the couple of farms that I have auto sorted, like the chickens and the slime. And there is input for some of the other stuff. Oh, sugarcane and cactus as well. The kelp just goes into a box, which I actually haven't checked in a while. Thinking about it. Yeah, I didn't think it would be all that much. You have to be within a certain range of it, and then I'm not entirely sure if it's still even growing. So if those are all 25s, it's not going to go anymore. Yeah, that's the turtle tube. When I did the original room, it was not my intention to be portal-like. It's just kind of how it ended up. I liked the way it looked. In the sheep farm. The entirety of the rest of it, though, can go. Just not right now. Because I can promise you it's going to take more than 10 minutes to pull that out. I think I might start by pulling out the water streams, and then from there do the redstone, and then pull the items, because otherwise it gets even messier than it's already going to be. I'm also going to need to put temporary storage somewhere. So that's fun. Might put it over there. There was a minecart elevator, but I replaced it with the bubble columns at some point. I don't remember when. This concrete converter. It's better than it was. I think they sugarcane, cactus string. Because there is a spider farm. I actually think I have all of the spawner-based farms you can have, except for a magma farm, because that was more recent. The cocoa beans is the only one that's not fully automatic, and I have to actually go upstairs and collect those manually. And then there's an input chest over here. I didn't show that earlier, but yeah. There's actually a spider farm, and these zombie and scaly farms are like off the branch mine. I'm trying to think. But if I go this way, I get to a spider farm. It's not a cave spider spawner, it's just a regular spider spawner. And if I break the ceiling blocks here, I flood it. Nothing too fancy, just a spider spawner. Although now I could probably take out some of the stuff around. Just regular spiders. It's not a mine shaft. I think I've found some previously, but I have no idea where they are at this point. And the crafting tables are for crafting purposes, because the storage was here, just walls of chests with hoppers. So I think the sheep farm is going to probably stay, and the other auto stuff will stay. But the rest of the sorter isn't. But yeah, hanging blocks were... This is what's in this section. Nothing too fancy, just water streams everywhere. I believe those are there because that's actually where the water goes up. Otherwise, it'd probably be clear all the way across. Yeah, there are cakes in here. Part of the sorter. Yeah, there's probably cake around here somewhere. I have no idea where, but there's probably cake. Cakes and ender chests, regular chests, and nowadays honey blocks. The idea with the catwalks is because of all the added blocks to the game. When I updated to 117? 116. Man, that's been a while too. There wasn't actually room for everything inside the main storage system, so I had to do something. Might have actually been 114. I didn't add that much. I might have added that in after 116, but because there's not a whole lot, and I think the sweet berries and stuff were probably somewhere else. The mangrove. Technically, that, and that do have a home, but it's not auto-sorted. believe is red and yellow. Part of the modded heritage of this world is that there was a blocks miner thing that I had for a while. That basically, it's like the drill for ores, except for it pulls blocks. And so I have a few shulkers of some blocks you wouldn't normally have shulkers, and shulkers have like sponges. That's how I ended up with as many sponges as I have. With the oak, there's a couple of different... Thank you for the raid. There's a couple of different tree farms I've done over the years. There was, pretty sure it was Ender.io that had the, farming station. So that's how I ended up with, a gajillion boxes of oak logs. Thank you for all the follows and for that gift sub. I think that's the last of the notifications for now.
Squirrel!
Indeed. We're actually kind of wrapping up at this point. Just kind of wandering around. Meander on endlessly.
Squirrel!
Because, you know, that's how we roll. Yeah, and you use water to
Squirrel!
break the chorus fruits. So you should not be able to get out of there now. All that work just to do that. Sounds about right. This shouldn't take more than 5-10 minutes. 6 hours later. I think it'll also be useful to condense everything that's currently bulk stored down to fewer chests just so it takes up less space. I believe I have enough room physically in the room for everything, I just don't have the chest space for it. I think I've got deep slate and stuff up here too. So it'd be over here? Yeah. Calcite and deep slate. Never did find any copper. We could take a minute and go do that. There's probably some over by the ancient city area. I'll see if I can find some on this, or nearer to the surface. Was it this portal or that portal? That's not it. So it's gotta be this one. I think. meadow with an ancient city underneath. That's it. There's some iron. Don't need a ton of copper, but I'll need a little bit later. Because it's really hard to make lightning rods if you don't have copper. It's kind of an important part. There's a little more. A little more over here. That'll be more than plenty. There's another portal over there. Yeah, that hole is because back in the day, you actually had to break the bedrock at one point in order for beacons to work. And it was really weird because you could run along the roof of the nether and see just the tops of the beacon beams because they stopped there. Visually. Tomorrow, I think I want to make Wednesday, at least for the time being, Stardew Valley Day. Which is actually why I'm playing Minecraft today. Minecraft. Fortune 3. Oh yeah, that's gonna be plenty. For later though. Anywho, it is also time to wrap up here, so let us see who is live. Well, we could generate Impulse. I have no idea what he's playing. Or Right Big Chimkin. He started playing it last week. I think I'm going to rate Chimkin. So tomorrow I'll be back around the same time, 3 p.m. Eastern until about 6. And I think we'll be playing Stardew Valley. Working on the save we started last week. And I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for stopping by.